At an emergency meeting of the Komfo Anokye Doctors Association held on 5th June 2026, recent events in the health space involving the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital were evaluated. There was intense deliberation on the unprecedented congestion within the emergency department and the resultant measures instituted by hospital management to ensure the continued delivery of safe patient care. Also, it further went ahead to say members expressed profound concern that actions undertaken by management aimed at addressing serious patient care challenges and ensuring patient and caregiver safety have rather resulted in disciplinary sanctions against the chief executive officer. They were unanimous that the decision by management to temporarily halt new emergency admissions and coordinate with surrounding health facilities was an important clinical and administrative intervention intended to prevent avoidable loss of life and preserve patient safety in the face of severe capacity constraints. Also, the meeting further noted that Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital serves as the principal tertiary referral hospital for the middle and northern sectors of Ghana and continues to operate under significant infrastructural limitations despite an ever-increasing patient load. The current situation reflects long-standing systemic challenges that require urgent policy and infrastructure solutions rather than punitive action against healthcare leaders attempting to manage their consequences. The meeting also unanimously condemned the minister's action in suspending the chief executive officer under the prevailing circumstances, describing the decision as unjustified and counterproductive to effort to address the underlying systemic challenges confronting the hospital. So that was basically the statement from the Komfo Anokye Doctors Association on their particular concerns. Now, away from that, let's do some other stories, as a total of 700 Ghanaians are expected to arrive home today and tomorrow as part of government evacuation of citizens affected by xenophobic attacks in South Africa. 342 evacuees are expected to arrive today, with a similar number scheduled to arrive tomorrow, bringing the total number of people evacuated to about 1,000. Speaking on Newsfile, Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa dismissed suggestions that Ghana had overreacted or that the issue could have been resolved solely through this diplomacy. He also rejected claims that Ghana was responsible for giving South Africa a bad image. According to the minister, the blame lies with South Africa itself.
Minutes ago, when I checked, about 125 have boarded.
All right.
And they will take off in the next hour. We expect them to arrive in Ghana 4:30 p.m. Local time. I'll be there with colleagues and government to receive them. And then we will receive the final batch tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We intend to conclude the evacuations this weekend. We are expecting a total of almost 700, so 342 arriving today and a similar number tomorrow. So when this is concluded, by close of day tomorrow, we will have evacuated about 1,000 Ghanaians.
The initial numbers we're told were some 800.
Yes, you know, it started even from 200, we went up to 300. A lot of Ghanaians kept coming forward and writing their names, indicating that, look, things are getting out of hand, they want to leave. They have to blame themselves. They should not have started this wave of xenophobia attacks in the first place. The whole philosophy that blame others for your woes, for your unemployment, for lack of opportunities is totally misplaced. So they have themselves to blame. Now, the Ghanaian action was very measured. I mean, there are those who have even called for the nuclear option, that there are lots of South African businesses here.
That's right.
When they started, my first public statement on this matter, I urged calm that there should be no reprisal or retaliatory action, that let us demonstrate that we are true Pan-Africanists, we believe in African integration. Let us not go after South Africans here or South African businesses here. You know, so we have been very measured, we've been very diplomatic. But what we will not do, you see, when you touch one Ghanaian, you touch all of us. We want to demonstrate, you know, that Ghanaian lives matter, that we value the life of every Ghanaian everywhere in the world.
Now, away from that, the Green Africa Youth Organization is backing the Environmental Protection Authority's planned ban on styrofoam and urging Ghanaians to adopt simple habits such as reducing, reusing and recycling waste to help combat pollution and climate change. The group says while policy interventions are important, individual actions at home and in communities are equally critical in protecting the environment. Michael Ashali has more in the following report.
Tossed onto streets, food waste dumped into overflowing bins, old clothes discarded without a second thought. Much of what we throw away ends up at landfill sites, polluting ecosystems and contributing to climate change. But at Gayo's material recovery facility in the Ladade Kotopon municipality, waste is being recycled, composted and reused. On World Environment Day, Facility Manager Yimano Edu says, protecting the environment starts with the choices people make every day. Edu says, reducing waste, reusing materials and embracing recycle are simple but effective ways to tackle pollution.
What we do here is that we try to recover waste from plastics, from organics, e-waste. So we bring them here and we try to repurpose them, recycle them into different products as well. So that's basically what we do here. And the message from Gayo is that let's protect the environment at all costs because our life is hinged on the environment. Yeah.
This year's World Environment Day is being observed on the theme Inspired by Nature for Climate for Our Future. The message aligns with the work being done here. In 2025 alone, Gayo says it diverted more than 268 tons of plastic waste and about 62 tons of organic waste from landfill sites. Instead, plastics are sorted and prepared for recycling. Organic waste is transformed into compost for agricultural use. The Environmental Protection Authority has announced plans to ban the use of styrofoam in food packaging and other applications from 2027. The move is part of efforts to tackle plastic pollution. Yimano Edu welcomed the decision.
We are in support of it because we know that in the long run it will help reduce the volume of waste that is in the country, which causes flooding and a whole lot of things in the country, and reduce pollution as a whole. So we are in full support of this.
Beyond policy measures, environmental advocates say households also have a critical role to play. Project Coordinator for Zero Waste at Gayo, Wendy Elom Amankwa, is encouraging Ghanaians to pay closer attention to what they throw away.
So instead of using single-use plastics, we should practice using reusable bowls or reusable bottles so that we can help reduce the waste generated in our communities. So if you have food waste, you don't have to just dump it or burn it, because the more you burn your waste, the more you pollute the environment.
As the world marks another Environment Day, campaigners say protecting the planet starts with everyday choices. Every bottle recycled and every effort to reduce waste helps build a cleaner, healthier future. For JoyNews, Michael Ashali.
Now, the Ashanti Regional Branch of the Ghana Journalists Association is calling for enhanced protection and safety measures for journalists reporting on environmental issues, particularly those covering illegal mining activities and climate-related challenges. According to the association, environmental reporters often face threat and other risks in the line of duty, making their safety critical to ensuring public access to information. The call was made during a workshop training organized in collaboration with Reporters Without Borders Germany to equip journalists with the skills and knowledge needed to effectively report on environmental issues. There is more in this report.
The GJA training workshop provided participants with practical knowledge on environmental reporting, risk assessment, and personal security measures, reinforcing the need for a safer working environment for journalists committed to exposing environmental abuses. The training forms part of environmental journalist Erastus Asaridonko's 2025 Research and Recharge Fellowship with RSF Germany. One of the fellowship's objectives is to provide a platform for Erastus to share his experiences and mentor young journalists on responsible and safe environmental reporting. Speaking at the workshop, the Deputy Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, Richard Boedi-Sedria, underscored the critical role of the media in promoting sustainable environmental development, urging journalists to sustain their advocacy and public education efforts on environmental conservation and protection.
There are a lot of activities that have negative environmental impacts, and as journalists, you can create a niche for yourself and then stick to even one stream of that environmental issues and then do reporting on that. As I presented, I mentioned that EPA has categorized all activities in Ghana into various sectors. So let's talk about infrastructure, hospitality, manufacturing, energy, agriculture, telecommunication, and pesticides and the others. So you can help in these directions because all of these activities are contributing to the negative environmental impacts that we are having at the moment.
Criminologist at KNUST, Dr. Jones Opokuware, highlighted the climate of fear among journalists covering environmental crimes. He noted that the persistent attacks and intimidation, especially against reporters investigating illegal mining operations, continue to threaten press freedom and undermine environmental accountability.
So it is very dangerous, and that is why we have to give it out to people like Erastos, people like those guys in multimedia and other journalists across the country who are focused so much on bringing the news on Galamsey to people. The truth of the matter is that when people's interests are at stake, definitely they will do everything possible to protect it. And in doing so, anybody that tries to bring sunshine or try to bring exposure stands in their way, and they will have to use every resources available to take them out. And that is why reporting in Galamsey sites now is very dangerous. Even though I still think that you guys are doing very well, journalists are doing well in the country in bringing the issues to limelight. But please, I would just suggest and advise that even as you go about that, make sure that you do your risk assessment and make sure that your personal safeties are well protected.
Erastus Asare-Donko also highlighted the need to nurture young journalists into the field while maintaining safety.
I'm urging young up-and-coming journalists like Nana Boakye and his team, please. They say that is risky. Yes, journalism itself is risky. But there are so many ways of doing this safely. Come join us. Let's report in a big time on the environment, on the impact of illegal mining, which we see across the country. It's getting worse. The hope that this generation has is that young journalists take up the mantle and we report on the environment because that is where we stay.
The Ashanti Regional GJA Chairman, Akufo-Addo, called for stronger protection mechanisms for media practitioners and urged news managers to prioritize the safety and welfare of reporters assigned to such high-risk beats.
No story is worth the life of any journalist, and so it's essential that in as much as we want our airwaves to have the best in terms of content, in as much as we want to feed our audience with the best of stories, in as much as we are playing our role as watchdogs of society in our reportage, we should not lose sight of the fact that the safety of our reporters are important. So if you sit in the office as an editor or as a manager of a station or a publication or a news house, you should not lose sight of the fact that you don't put your staff at the front line without the necessary or the requisite tools, information, and assessment of the risk factors of wherever they're going to report.
For JoyNews, Nana Akufo-Addo, Kumasi.
Away from the Ashanti region, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Anthony Intem, has called on board a resident of the Afaja South District and the Hohoi municipality of the Volta region to protect the international boundary pillars to support efforts to safeguard Ghana's territorial integrity. Speaking during a 5-day operational and human security needs assessment conducted by the Commission in part of the Volta region, he urged residents living along the international boundary to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities, encroachment or damage of their boundary pillars to the Commission through the various local administrative and also security authorities.
Operational and human security needs assessment conducted by the Commission in parts of the Volta region forms part of the Commission's efforts to evaluate the condition of Ghana's international boundary pillars and assess the security and development needs of border communities. As part of the assessment, the Ghana Boundary Commission team engaged border security agencies stationed at the Vili border post and held consultations with traditional authorities, Leklebi Agbesia traditional area. During the engagements, community members highlighted several developmental challenges, including the lack of a health facility and the need for an access road linking the community to a nearby waterfall to boost tourism in the area. The team also visited the border communities of Agotime, Petwe, Vodoma, and Leklebi Kame to assess local conditions and gather information on operational and human security concerns. In addition, the Commission held discussions with the Member of Parliament for Agotime Ziope and contractors undertaking an ongoing road construction project along sections of the Ghana-Togo international boundary line. Both parties were sensitized on the importance of adhering to established boundary limits and avoiding activities that could compromise the integrity of boundary pillars. According to the Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Intem, boundary pillars remain critical markers for delineating Ghana's international land boundaries and play an important role in preventing disputes and maintaining peaceful relations with neighboring countries.
Determine and demarcate and also delimit the international boundaries of Ghana, be it the land boundary, maritime boundary, as well as the airspace boundary, in accordance with international law. What we actually do is we work hand in hand with our counterparts from the boundary commissions of our neighboring countries. We go on the international boundary, and then we use boundary markers at the boundary, that is the pillars for the land boundary. Pillars that have been rated by the colonial masters. We ascertain whether the pillars are in place, and then because these pillars, some of them have been constructed over the years, for a long time now, over the years, they have been displaced. Some have been overgrown with bushes. So we have started constructing new pillars. For this very coming year now is to carry out the operational assessment to find out whether these pillars are in place, whether they have been any encroachment over the period. And Akufo-Addo region, district being one of the border districts, we are here to find out whether the pillars are still intact, whether there have been any encroachments over the period, whether there's anything threatening the security of our boundary. Yeah, my message to the good of the people of Akufo-Addo service to go. The pillars that have been erected to mark our international land boundary, when they see those pillars, they should protect the pillars for us. And then also, if there are any issues that they think threatens the security of our boundaries, they should quickly alert us. And then also find out, if there are any issues also that they have with the communities at the other side, at the Togo side, that they think that threatens their security as well as the peace, they should also alert us so that we sit down and then address those issues amicably.
He further stressed that community participation is essential in preserving the integrity of the country's international boundaries, as community members can serve as early teams on matters that pose a threat to the security of the state.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime with me, James Eshun. Let's now take a breather. I'll be back for more stories.
Baya bukata abu mai yawa ku sare abin da kuke so. Wani sahili yana farawa da rigakafi. kulawa ba kowane lokaci yake da karfi ba, shine saurara, takasansan da yin kananan abubuwan da suka dace.
Kariko bara yana farawa da ni, ina kula kowace rana.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix. Taste of Ghana.
Hey, Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke. Fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and your fufu. But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back. Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Welcome to a place where everyday living is reimagined, where space, movement, and community come together effortlessly. With thoughtfully designed spaces, modern facilities, and everything you need within reach. You don't just live here, you feel safe, comfortable, and at ease. Step inside Eden Heights and discover spaces crafted for comfort, style, and everyday living. And just when it feels right, you will know. Because this isn't just about finding a house, it's about stepping into a better way of living. Eden Heights, the height of modern living. Book a private viewing today.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. Let's do some other stories now. And the Deputy Minister of Health says Ghana is strengthening surveillance systems at its borders to prevent the importation of Ebola cases into the country. The assurance follows growing concerns of an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Dr. Grace Ayensu-Dankwa gave the assurance during an inspection tour of the Elubu border in the western region. There is more in this report.
Health authorities in Ghana say no Ebola case has been recorded in the country despite the ongoing outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. As part of efforts to prevent any possible importation of the disease, surveillance at the country's borders has been intensified. The Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Grace Ayensu-Dankwa, together with officials of the Ghana Health Service, inspected screening facilities and health posts at the Elubu border. The visit forms part of government's preparedness measures aimed at strengthening early detection and response system at the country's entry points.
Even though Ebola hasn't come to Ghana and we don't have any suspected cases, we have to be prepared. So emergency preparedness is what is going to prevent the disease from entering the country. So today we came to Elubu precisely to assess the preparedness of this particular border, because Elubu is the second largest border in the country. So what did we find today? We were very impressed. In fact, what we found that they are very prepared. Those who are coming in and those who are leaving, all the systems are in place. We have even seen some public education flyers that they have posted around the border. So far, the message we're getting is very encouraging. They are prepared. Of course, there are a little bit of gaps in the system, which they mentioned that they needed some PPEs and also that the NAB needs to be more functional. So we have taken all that information to advisory. We are going back to Accra. We will inform the minister and also inform the president, and then we will bring you the necessary equipment, all the necessary consumables, the PPEs to effectively manage this border, to save Ghanaian lives and to prevent the Ebola from entering the country.
Meanwhile, the Municipal Director of Health for Jomoro, Gabriel Yangrere, says the municipality is adequately prepared to respond to any suspected Ebola case. He, however, identified the numerous unapproved routes along the country's western border as a major challenge to surveillance efforts.
Any bus that arrives or any traveler that comes around, we inspect the conveyance, as in if it's a bus. Our officers get on the bus and inspect for any sick traveler. They also check for any nuisance in the bus, and after that they ask travelers to come down one after the other, and they are screened using the thermometer gun to check for temperature above normal limit. So I would say that we are prepared. Our only concern is the unapproved routes that people use. But if a suspected case of Ebola will come through this border, I can assure you that we will definitely pick up that suspected case.
Health authorities continue to encourage the public to observe good hygiene practices and report any suspected symptom to the nearest health facility as the country remains on high alert. In Athalia Kwansa, JoyNews, Elubu.
And that's all for JoyNews Prime with me, James Eshun. For more stories, log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you for watching and have a good evening.
Everything has meaning, but not everything is as it seems. For every story told, there are versions of the truth.
We can't afford to look at this, the numbers that have been presented, and say, we are tired, it's the same old issue. No, somebody should be prosecuted.
Every opinion can be debated. Every claim can be challenged. Even the idea of the national interest can and must be interrogated.
This is the date it was. This was the date it was printed from the system.
That is what
What is he talking about?
Because sometimes the real facts are buried deep within layers of interpretation. So we ask the harder questions. We test every claim. We raise the standard of public discourse and place every issue on the altar of unbiased scrutiny. This is Newsfile, your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first.
We stand beneath you. What are you doing?
Newsfile with Samson Ladi Anyanini. On Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible.
Imagine a family without a home. Imagine a song without a voice. Imagine a church without prayers. Imagine a government without citizens. Imagine democracy without journalists. Imagine a world without the media. is full of issues and stories about people, communities, and governments. Stories that have to be told by well-trained journalists. That's why you can't imagine news without Joy News.
Now, since its rollout in January 2023, the Bank of Ghana has disclosed that it incurred losses of 317 million Ghana cedis in 2023 and some 1.82 billion